Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Kuri, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. Yesterday, I got a message from a guy on Instagram, and I just wanted to let him know that I've replied to that message. So, just because I know it's a new account, so maybe he might have created the account to actually send me a message. So I'm just letting him know that I've replied to it, just in case he hasn't seen it. So that out of the way, I was going through some reels that people have sent me there, just to have a look at. And for lately, I've been seeing this sort of narrative that people are talking about, especially coaches or people that of influence. They talk about people operating in their masculinity and people or women operating their femininity, and how women are becoming more masculine and then not then operating in the femininity and all of that stuff. And as I was listening to it, I kept hoping to hear somebody sort of break it down. So, like, what does that actually mean to be operating in masculinity? And nobody does break it down. And this is male coaches and female coaches alike. So, and I think to a certain extent, I have fallen under the same trap, and where I sort of explain something or say something and just assume knowledge for you guys, which is the wrong way of doing things. Because if you say masculine, I want you to break it down. What are you saying? Because it's different for everyone. Depending on who you ask, they will see it in a different way. So, for example, if I just assume that you understand what dominance is, especially if you've come into a community, if I don't break it down, you'll take it to whatever it is, and that can be quite destructive for you, or even counteract the efforts that you're trying to do to change your sexless relationship. So it becomes important for people to break shit down. And the few times I've heard people try to break masculinity down, or convey what femininity is, I see people are off the mark. They actually don't understand what they're talking about. And a lot of the things that they're trying to describe fall under what we call dominance, where you've got three traits that make up dominance, which is ability to protect, strategic thinking, and resilience. If you can demonstrate these, this is where you can, in inverted commas, you're showing masculine traits. So you can replace dominance with masculine, but I think I like dominance because it has got this visceral reaction whenever I say it. But at the same time, you have to think about when people talk about this sort of conflict between men not being able to operate in the masculine. I think there is some truth to it, because people sort of take a back seat within relationships, hoping that by giving the lead and not causing friction within the relationship, this will get them seen in a favorable view within that relationship, which is the reason why you end up in a sexless relationship. So it's very interesting now that when I talk about dominance, there is some parts about it where I was speaking to a guy. He was like, ability to protect. So I need to know how to fight. I need to know. I was like, ability to protect is not. You don't necessarily have to be. It's not necessarily just fighting and being able to fight off burglars. That's one thing that you need to be at least training to do. But at the same time, you need to be going to the gym regularly, and you need to be able to run a mile under 10 minutes is one, and you need to be able to be getting better with the finances, getting some savings going. You need to be able to, that's just the ability to protect. So being able to be financially sound, being able to communicate effectively, and when there's moments of friction in your household or outside of a household, being able to communicate effectively at work. So when you're at work and somebody's about to bully you, you're able to communicate that pretty well and secure your job and do, like, those are the traits that as a masculine man you should be able to do. And I think one guy, when I was speaking to him yesterday, he did sum it up really well. That you have to be pretty solid outside facing, and she needs to see you that you're like that really protective person outwardly, and she needs that, because again, this helps her to not feel fear, because that's one less thing that she can worry about. And if you think about the other traits, strategic thinking and being resilient, all of that is allowing her to then have less things to worry about. Anxiety, in fact, strategic thinking helps her not to have anxiety, because then you're the one that's coming up with decisions, and you are choosing the outcomes that where we should be going, and the decisions, the tasks that are required in order to get there. So again, it's when you have strategic thinking, she doesn't have to have anxiety, because now you're the one that's taking ownership of decision making. She doesn't have to make decisions. And then when you think about resilience, she doesn't have to be strong, or at least strong for you, or try and be strong for you. You're already strong when things are going wrong. You're the one that's really remaining strong, really thinking about how do I come out of this negative situation, if there is a negative situation. So again, this becomes very powerful when you start thinking from that perspective. And I think most of you guys have been told you need to operate in masculine, but nobody ever explains what that is. Well, from today on, every time you hear masculine, I want you to replace it with the word dominance, because that's basically what it is. And really, why I say dominance is because when you operate in dominance, what femininity is submission. And again, that's a horrible word for most people. They're like, what the fuck? Yeah, the opposite of that is submission. And submission isn't her not having any opinions or any point where she can speak. It's more about her building confidence in your leadership. And when she can build confidence in that is actual submission. That means that your decision making is solely done by you, and she's got confidence that you're going to make the right decisions that are collaborative, that will build a relationship, that will protect the family, and so on and so forth. So this is why it's extremely powerful, and I thought I would break it down for you guys, because there's all this information out there that talks about masculinity and femininity and what that looks like, and all that. And to be honest with you, I think while most people that talk about being masculine and femininity, and most women don't operate in femininity. The way they walk, the way they dress, the clothes that they wear, even just the fact that the way their appearance, they appear not even masculine. They're just not what most people would find really attractive. I'm the same. The other day we were watching a show, and we're just playing a game where my daughter chose her boyfriend, my wife chose her boyfriend, then I was going to choose my girlfriend, and I could not pick any of them. None of them were feminine. I was like, I don't see any. None of these girls are pretty, and they were trying to convince me which one was pretty. And in the end, I had to choose one because I didn't want to spoil the game. But that was like the most feminine out of a bad bunch. So again, whether that it's just that, most people, if you ask most women, they'll tell you that there's a real shortage of masculine men. I think there's some truth to that, because the society has told us how to interact with women, and really they told us to be pussies in order to interact with women. And if you watch, a lot of people have been influenced by Friends. Those guys are fucking feminine. Like they gave you the blueprint on how not to be a man. Like, do everything. Even including Joey. All of that is all transactional shit that isn't good for any relationship. So you don't want to operate like that. There's no real actor or anything. But actually, what's that one? American Psycho is probably the closest you can get to a masculine man. I know he's a bit of a crazy man, but that's probably the closest you can get to what I would call an alpha. It's a guy who's operating in a masculine, because he's not really concerned about, he's not bending his will to suit her. He's just doing whatever he needs, whatever he wants, and he's saying whatever he wants, and he's amusing himself, and all of that. Those are the important parts about being a tribal male, operating in inverted commas masculine. So hopefully that's something that's helpful for you guys. I'll be seeing you guys soon. Take care.